Let's talk about the Tirana state. We're going to look at four things. We're going to look at what it is, its many variants, how it impacts the world, and how to avoid it, how to prevent it from manifesting. So the Tirana state is simply this. It is the rule of the few over the many for the agenda of the few. Power is concentrated in the hands of a few. Control is enforced over the majority, and decisions serve the narrow interests of the few, of the rulers, not the people. Now, we will also talk about how centralized power can be a very good thing, and how when we apply organizational hygiene and anti-tyrannical measures, it can be maintained as such, so that it's a good and noble thing and essential thing. But let's break down some of the different variants of the Tirana state. Some harsh and severe, some somewhat more subtle, but just as crushing in many ways to the well-being of humanity and nations. And interestingly, I think oftentimes we associate these with nation states, but the world has changed, moved on. And now these Tirana states, I think, can be transnational states, which is an interesting phenomenon. But let's just take a look at a few of them. Plutocracy, rule by the wealthy. Money is the source of power. Billionaires, corporations, super rich rule over the many through various devices. Oligarchy, rule of the few, when power is in the hands of a small group of rulers, regardless of how they got this power. It could be political power, technological power, bureaucratic power, military power, religious power, or some combination of these. That's oligarchy. Obviously, there is the religious state, the totalitarian religious state. There is technocracy, a system where unelected, unaccountable experts and bureaucrats make decisions that rule over the people. There's fascism, which is like an ultranational dictatorship, glorified state, and so on. And just usually one person just takes supreme power. Not so present in the world today. Similarly, we could consider maybe feudal systems and monarchies to be an old type of the tyrannical state. Obviously, communism, where, obviously we know what communism does. A few people take power under the guise of beneficence, that they're going to create a wonderful, good, fair, and just world. But really, it's obviously just an entire ruse for tyranny. Obviously, military dictatorships, cryptocracy, a hidden form of rule where real power lies with secret networks, maybe intelligence agencies, corporate interests collaborating together. Obviously, there is foreign rule by foreign powers, which is interesting because now we can see the rise of global powers, which is a new form of rule by a foreign power, undermining the nation, and kind of new colonialism. Truly a vile thing. A few people in rooms far, far away deciding how people in nations should live. Their confused, narcissistic psychopathy ruling over the world. Truly vile. So global powers through debt, trade, corporate influence, and so on, rather than direct occupation, ruling really nation states. You might also think possibly of puppet regimes in this, and so on. So just the thing is that this Tirana state will manifest itself in different ways. And, these tyrannical powers may be in conflict with each other, and so they can be challenging each other. They may find a way of coexisting and so on, but they always want to, reach further. But so that's what they are. That's the different types of ways they can sort of manifest. And what's the impact they have on people's lives, on the masses? Well, they always have the same thing: poverty and oppression for the masses. That's all. And as I say, all of these things that I've mentioned are really the same thing. They're variants of the tyrannous state, which is a truly vile thing. And tyranny doesn't just crush bodies, it warps reality. It replaces freedom with obedience, truth with fear, and life with the struggle for survival. And really, I propose the way to prevent it in the next 2 chapters, along with preventing the superclass from coalescing, or and along with inhibiting and preventing these organizational predators that I described. I propose what I'm going to talk about in the next 2 chapters as a way to significantly reduce their impact, maybe even just make their impact minimal and somehow manageable. As with all diseases, sometimes you can eliminate it, and sometimes, hopefully, most of the times you can minimize it, and sometimes you just need to manage it. As with all diseases, all expressions of disease. So in chapter 4 and 5, I'm excited getting onto this, because that really was the purpose, was to get on to the solution as quickly as possible, and just have a reasonable model there of how it operates initially. And then in the commentary sections, it's just going to be an opportunity just to explore, investigate different perspectives on all of this thing. But really, the purpose of this book is not that everybody agrees with what I say in the commentaries. It's not that everybody agrees with what I talk about in the predators and the superclass and the tyrannous state, or maybe you agree with some of it or disagree with others. That's fine. This is not an issue. It's not. I don't mind. I think it's great. Let's discuss it. Let's look into it. But I do think what I propose as organizational hygiene and anti-tyrannical measures, I think pretty much everybody agrees that these are good things. And the purpose of this book is to galvanize and focus the masses on making these things a reality in our day-to-day lives, in the structures we live in our societies, in our communities, in our workplaces. And not by some top-down pressure forcing people to do this, but just by each person waking up and saying, you know what, yes, obviously I do agree with these measures. Let me take responsibility. Let me step up and take personal responsibility to apply these as best I can, because I'm awakened, I'm aware now, I have this new consciousness, this new clarity. And from that place, let us all collaborate. Let us all work together and do wonderful things.